Is Mike Arnold. At the personal request of Nigerian presidential advisor Reno Omokri and National Security Advisor Nuhu Rabadu, I recently traveled to Nigeria as part of a much publicized fact finding mission to report the truth on the Nigerian genocide. This was just one additional step in my 6 year mission to investigate and document this tragedy. During this time, I've traveled across Nigeria, often at great personal risk and sacrifice, visiting communities struck by genocide, concentration camps of the displaced generation of Nigerians, schools and orphanages filled with children who saw their families slaughtered, and much, much more, including some of the highest offices in the land. The reality of my recent trip was that I was invited to be a stooge for their international PR stunt. They somehow thought that after 6 years of investigating this genocide firsthand, across many dark corners of Nigeria and working to raise awareness of this back home, that I would somehow get up front of the media and lie about it. Of course, I refused, and instead, God used me to flip the script, and I told the truth that they are so desperately trying to hide. I did what I was asked. I spoke the truth, and by God's mighty power, it had great impact. A long suppressed truth is always explosive. Data shows that just a few days after the press conference, total impressions across all media were more than 3 billion. And the narrative worldwide flipped from 80% denying genocide to 70% affirming. Observers on both sides of the Atlantic say this had an obvious impact on President Trump's recent statements and actions in this matter. I think that's pretty explosive. This is part two of that report. It is the official continuation of the important work I was formally invited to do by top representatives of the Nigerian government, and it exposes an even darker, deeper, and more suppressed truth. When you understand what's happening in Nigeria, how so many different pieces have come together and all the moving parts over such an extended time, it's hard to deny that there is an intelligent design. Auschwitz did not build itself. Swastika flags didn't just randomly appear across Germany. The armies of the Third Reich didn't just spring up out of nowhere. And in the same way, the evil jihad genocide machine we are seeing in Nigeria today didn't just happen by natural evolution or pop up spontaneously. By all indications, it is a long running, strategic, sophisticated, and lucrative venture, and it's intentional. All evidence points to an intelligent design, and that begs the question: who is the designer? And what do they aim to achieve? Part one of my report dealt entirely in verifiable, sourced facts to conclude beyond any reasonable doubt, and according to the United Nations definition, that there is indeed in Nigeria today a current, long running, and growing genocide taking place by radical Islamist jihadis against Christians, nonviolent Muslims, and anybody else who stands in their way. My prior report also straightened out some of the spin from President Tinubu's team's talking points. For example, when whole villages of Christian farmers are systematically wiped out overnight by marauding Fulani militias on motorcycles with AK-47s and RPGs, who happen to be from a traditionally herdsman tribe, it is repugnant doublespeak to call that a farmer-herder clash. And no, it has nothing to do with global warming or economic inequality or any other ridiculous woke talking point pushed out to muddy the waters and deny this present Holocaust. It is driven by radical Islam, fueled by the blood mineral trade, and is continuing to strategically realign the Nigerian political map. There are people today who are personally benefiting enormously by these horrors. Now, here's a disclaimer. I will include many such disclaimers here so there's no misunderstanding. The granular details here are murky. The truth is buried under blood oaths, sadistic savagery, age old tribal identities, radical Islamic theology and brotherhood, the highest levels of international meddling and corruption, and immense illicit wealth. The truth has been buried in mass graves alongside innocent people murdered in the most horrific ways, and almost entirely Christians. All this to say, the known puzzle pieces I will present in this report are verifiable, but I acknowledge without hesitation that they may ultimately be assembled in a slightly different way. At the same time, I believe any rational person will conclude that this report is definitely over the target, and the questions I pose here demand answers. Now, I know many Americans and other outside observers might be alarmed at what I present here. That's because you haven't been paying attention. The world has been distracted by Ukraine and Israel and Iran and sports and entertainment and social media and everything else. But the world must pay attention. Think of it as if it were 1940 and a reporter stumbled into Auschwitz and exposed it to the world. This scenario is not all that different. We must care, because beyond being a massive humanitarian crisis, the clear and present national security implications affect us all over the world. To Nigerians hearing this, from all tribes and faiths and regions of the country, you know in your heart that what I'm speaking is true. You may find it abhorrent or you may find it holy. Either way, it's what you call common knowledge in Nigeria, a collective understanding. But even so, everyone knows it's dangerous even to whisper such things there. People have historically been targeted for prison, torture, and death for what I'm about to say. I believe the shock most Nigerians will sense in hearing this is not from revelation, but from the fact somebody finally had the courage to speak it out loud. While after this, you can't say you didn't know. The real question is, what are you going to do about it? Now, a few notes about this report, because the report is so precisely detailed, 60 pages, including 319 citations. What I deliver now will be an abridged oral version. This full oral report is being delivered via timed X premiere. Multiple shorter video clips will be syndicated soon after. The document is also dropping online and being syndicated at the same time. It's being sent to highest level officials in the United States and top media outlets both in the US and Nigeria and internationally. You may download a copy at www.idpjustice.org or at my blog, mikearnold.org. Now for the report. What I'm about to present is a solemn and formal statement. It is a result of 6 years of research, 16 trips to Nigeria, over 80 hours of video documentation and direct testimony from genocide survivors, government officials, intelligence sources, clergy, historians, journalists, and traditional rulers. This is not speculation. This is not theory. This is evidence. And today, it is submitted to both the Nigerian people and the international community for urgent investigation. Let's begin with this essential truth. Genocide is occurring in Nigeria today. That fact is now undeniable. I presented the documented evidence in Abuja on October 14th. Since then, it has triggered formation of an emergency Nigerian Senate Special Committee, flooded Nigerian media with approaching now 5 billion total impressions, and rallied voices globally. But today we ask the next question: who is orchestrating it? When I first visited Nigeria in 2010, the nation was relatively peaceful. There were no major displacement camps and no clear signs of ethnic cleansing or mass targeting of Christians. That changed after 2011. The post-election riots that year marked a turning point. In 12 northern Sharia-controlled states, mobs killed over 800 and torched hundreds of churches. It was brutal, but it wasn't random. It revealed what is clearly an intelligent design, a deliberate strategy to unleash chaos, dismantle pluralism, and reset Nigeria's power structure under a revived Fulani Islamic order. Today, that design has matured. Between January and August 2025 alone, 7,087 Christians were killed. 1,583 churches were burned. Countless more Nigerians displaced, literally countless, because the government denies them, doesn't count them. Over 99.8% of these incidents occurred within the exact geographic footprint of the historic Sokoto Caliphate.
I titled this message, The Messiah of the Biafrans. Mike Arnold is the one who made it possible for things that is happening now. How do I mean? Do not misunderstand me. You saw that video, right? And you will agree with me that this man is God sent. Ted Cruz, yes, he rallied around the senators in the House of Reps and whatever to make sure that Nigeria is being prescribed as a country of particular concern. But you see, this Mike Arnold is the one that blew the final whistle. When Reno Omokri, the lying machine, went all the way to go and invite the guy, hoping that the guy will come and begin to romance their ego, and the guy let the cat out of the basket. It still boils down to what I always say, that it can only get good when it have got worse, not even when it have got bad, when it have got worse. And that is the situation where we found ourselves today. I called him the Messiah because if not for him, they would have continued to be romancing it. Hey, no Christian genocide, there's no killing of Biafrans, you know, all this kind of lying that when you hear it, my brother, you begin to vomit. I saw the lies that Amnesty International Nigeria now are telling about Southeast. They just changed the management and put one Mr. Salihu, which is a Fulani man. So instead of him now to be reporting what is happening in Nigeria, in quote, he chooses Southeast, bringing news, old news about what happened 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014. I'm not against it. Fine and good. Anyone who is found wanting should be dealt with. At least we need to sanitize our environment. But one thing they don't understand is this, that Trump, or rather America as a country, or rather as a world power, have every intel. I repeat, they have every intel, every inch of what is happening in Nigeria today. They have every hint of what have happened in Nigeria in the past. And they also have intelligence of what is still going to happen in Nigeria in future. So for you to know how sophisticated this country is, I know that sometimes they can produce a useless and headless president like that of Obama and Joe Biden. But you can as well agree with me that no matter how bad their country may be, it can never be compared with a zoo, a country that negotiates with terrorists. Mike Arnold, I call him the Messiah, in fact, the new Messiah of 2025. Don't bring out argument that Nnamdi Kanu, what about Nnamdi Kanu, what about Simon Ekpa? My brother, Eke or Eke. Now we use that language. Now it is our language. Our society, Eke or Eke, according to Onyeze Jesus. Everybody have their own duty, everybody have their own calling as well. The way Trump might handle the issue of Zojurian and the way another president might handle it might not be the same. So, Ekere or Eke. It is his own time to expose the irregularities that is happening within the politics of Nigeria, whether you like it or not. For me, Mike Arnold remains the Messiah of our time. Yeah, the very first day he stepped his feet, or rather, he had been coming to Nigeria according to him, but the very first day they tried to use him against us. You know, some people don't understand. When they're talking about Christians, they are talking about the Southeasterners, which is almost 98% dominated by Christians. Other Christians in other Muslim states are minorities, so you cannot use them to compare what is happening. And they will bring that argument. What about Benue? The part of Benue that are being killed most, go and check it very well, go and make your verifications, are the part that belongs to the Biafrans. I mean, are the part that are being dominated by Igbos in Benue. Don't forget, we have Igbos in Benue, we have Igbos in Kogi, also Plateau, some part of Plateau, also we have Igbos there. We are not claiming their lands. We are just telling you where we have indigenous Igbos. All these things, I mean, everybody were scattered during the war and after the war. Some people never made it to come back to their ancestral land again. So they have to dwell where they found themselves. I don't know whether this history is right or wrong. If I'm wrong, please correct me at the comment section. I'm not a child of history. And I am not a professor who teaches history in school. So what am I trying to say? This message here is very, very clear. I'm not bringing this message up for you to like me or for you to like this man, but I want to tell you that the work this man is doing is really touching the zoo. When you get to the comment section, my brother, you will laugh, you will also cry, because we have a lot of morons. The whites call every Nigerian youth as headless. Yes, there's one guy, Goldfinger, I think that's a NATO assistant from Austria. He said that Nigerian youths are the worst ever youths you can ever see in this planet Earth. The oppressors, the people being oppressed will then join hands with people who are oppressing them to say that there is no killings in Nigeria. Are you okay, my brother? All these government that are paying you 1,000, 2,000 to come online. Some people, sometimes they will gather you and tell you to begin to do protest, and they will promise you heaven and earth. When you finish the protest, you will even look for money to transport yourself back home. That is the only country you can see it, is in that zoo called Nigeria. The ones that are sponsoring you, telling you to go out there, defend your country, whatever, they are children. In fact, they are children. The future of their 10th and 15th generations have been secured, borrowing money on top of your head. That is a poor man or a poor woman or a poor family that you and your entire generation will never finish paying, and then you keep on supporting them. And the irony of lazy youths and headless Nigerian youths is something that nobody will ever pray to have. That no any country will ever pray to have the kind of youth they have in Nigeria. Even the population, so nobody, because the population in Nigeria have turned to become a curse instead of a blessing. And then you want us to shut our mouths because you said that they are demarketing you. Why you are the one who is demarketing your own self? May the God have mercy upon the heads of every youth in that zoo that they call Nigeria, or rather in that contraption that they call a country. I will not take much of your time. It is early in the morning, and I'm very, very sure that most of us have a lot of things to do while waking up from your sleep. I want you to share this message. And also, at the comment section of this video, just tag at Mike Arnold. You are our new Messiah of 2025. And another Messiah might arise in 2026. This is going to the end of this year. So, he is the Messiah of 2025. He have done his work. And he did it perfectly well. So when we enter 2026, you might see another different Messiah. Because according to what I said earlier, when you get your turn to do that work, my brother, my sister, endeavor to give your best. That is my advice to myself and to you watching me. I don't know where you're watching me from, whether from YouTube, from Facebook, TikTok, or IG. But whichever way it is, my brother, if you get your turn, please do the work as your power will reach you. Don't overdo it. And don't do past yourself. That is the only thing I can tell you. Let's see if there's any comment that follow this video. Or maybe we might decide to leave the comment until another day. Because I say according to my people. Anyway, let's forget about the comments. And I go hear my voice again when I come back. Don't forget, I still remain your one and only Okute Daily Talk, or address me as Ukulora One Nation, giving you this very important information. It will benefit you most if this message will go viral. And also at the comment section, you keep on typing. May God bless Mike Arnold, Ted Cruz, and every other House of Rep member in the Chambers of United States of America who make it possible for all this thing to be happening. You know, they think Donald Trump is joking. Don't worry, a time is coming when that their laughter will turn to tears. We are looking forward to that day. But for us, the Biafrans, we are going home. If there's any bad egg being found wanting in our land, because the insecurity in Biafraland is an imported one. So let us not, let us stop gaslighting, or let us stop deceiving ourselves. It is imported. And those ones who imported them, they know them. The US know them. They know the ones sponsoring terrorism, and they're the ones who are terrorist sympathizers. When the time is right, everybody is going to receive their own payment at their own coin. But for now, I better take my leave. Please like, share, comment, and keep subscribing. Follow and share this message. Okay, Messiano, my people.